Hello and welcome to my review for Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. It's been a long time since I've reviewed something, but I figure I'd give this another shot. It's pretty fun. Um, I guess to start off with the white horse in the room. Uh, the white horse is bad, but it kind of works. But it doesn't really matter if it works. Um, it's a Rob Zombie Halloween movie, and he tried something different, and I really don't blame him for it. Um, the new kid that plays Michael Myers, I think, definitely looks the part more than Michael, but he can't act. He's nowhere near as good as Dave Furch from the first film, but he does look more like Michael, what I envision Michael being. Um, I really enjoyed that the opening of the film, just like this film, also starts off right at the beginning, uh, right where the first film left off. And I think that was a wise move because it kind of lets us in on just the aftermath of all the horrible things that happened at the end of the first film, especially with Laurie and how brutalized she was. But I really like the image of her walking through like downtown Haddonfield with a gun in her hand, just completely covered in blood. I really do enjoy that. And people hate the cow scene. I think it works. When I saw this in theaters, and that scene was like, that's when you knew, buckle up, because this is a brutal, brutal movie. This is definitely more brutal than the first film. And when he cuts his head off with that piece of glass, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I thought it felt like an NC-17 film, to be honest. Um, but then we moved to the hospital, and the hospital scene's probably my favorite scene in the movie. I know a lot of people think it's a cheat because it's a dream sequence, but um, you know what? I think it works. I think it's obvious that's a dream sequence from the beginning of the scene, or really when Michael shows up, because something like that would be reserved for like the third act, for the climax of the film, Laurie getting chased by Michael. So I really enjoy the kills in the hospital, especially Octavia Spencer. She just gets stabbed repeatedly in her back over and over and over again, and it's yucky. And that's what I want out of my Rob Zombie Halloween movie. My moving from probably my favorite scene in the movie, the hospital scene. My least favorite scene in the movie is the coffee music shop scene with Mrs. Lady Lumps. Uh, really, really bad dialogue that I didn't know what Rob Zombie was really thinking there. It's just kind of cringe inducing, especially with the old man hippie fighting the man and everything. Like, we get it. It's very on the nose. Next, I really wanted to hit on the strip club scene. I don't know if Michael's ever interrupted someone having sex before. I know Jason has it in part two, but I don't know if Michael's ever done it before. But he does it here, and it's terrifying. He just walks in on these two people, and oh, I almost forgot my favorite character of the movie, the mustachioed employee of the strip club that's forced to take out the garbage. His little movement, and then he kind of slowly opens the door after he gets roasted by his boss. That's really funny. But when the boss just gets his arm broken and you see it flopping, that is just one of the most disgusting things I've seen in a movie. And when he grabs the stripper and grabs her face and puts it into that mirror over and over and over again, that was, again, I was like, am I watching an NC-17 film? I had no idea how they were able to put that in the movie. But moving on, I like the Halloween party scene. I like that kind of jump scare where Michael grabs her during the party scene, and it's in red, and I like that. I like some of the surreal images that the film um, provides. I don't think it's really pretentious as much as it's kind of Rob Zombie's trying to get into Michael's head. No one's ever done that before, and I guess I gotta give him props for that. Um, as far as which version I prefer, I think it's a draw. I think if you're wanting an easier night, the theatrical is definitely the way to go. Feels like more of like a PG version of the movie, where the director's cut feels like the full thing, but the director's cut just is just so nasty with the characters, especially with Loomis and Laurie. Loomis and Laurie are both just really unlikable in this movie, and the theatrical cut definitely tones it down, especially on Laurie. Laurie's a lot more likable, but she does get a lot less character development because of that, because all that's cut out. It feels kind of rushed in the theatrical. Overall, I think, except for the horrible Michael yelling "die" at the end of the director's cut, I think I like the director's cut ending more. Um, I just feel like his choice of that cover of Love Hurts was probably definitely his original intention, especially with the helicopter shot of Laurie when she's laying there after she's been shot. Um, I think I prefer that, but overall, I think both versions have their pluses and minuses. Even in the hospital scene, there's a bin of dead bodies that she falls into, which kind of gives away that it's a dream in the director's cut, but that's not in the theatrical. And I really, I really like the image of her falling in there, but at the same time, it does give away that it's a dream. So I'm kind of torn between it. But overall, this isn't one of my top 3 or 4 favorite Halloween movies, but this is something that's really grown on me, and I tend to watch this movie a lot more than any of the other Halloween films, which is weird because the original is my favorite movie of all time, but something about this movie just keeps me coming back, and I think if a movie just kind of keeps you coming back to it and rewatching it, then it can't be that bad. Anyway, I'm Movie Freak 688. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to leave a comment below, like if you like, and subscribe if you want to. Thanks. Bye.